Hi, and welcome to another practice video. I don't practice enough and forget what I have learned about video editing between tries. I'm still reading my spiels also. In a few days, Aptera is going to release the gamma version of its prototypes, and we will see whether the trike is as fake as the alphas, or if it actually has the features they claim for their production version due around the end of December this year. If you are unaware of the alphas not having many of the features, it was reported by Steve from Aptera Owners Club that the solar on those was fake, according to his examination during a visit and test ride. And the alphas didn't get driven far because the battery pack was well below the lowest 25 kilowatt hours of their four sizes. It was probably less than 10 kilowatt hours. There were other features that simply didn't work, and Jay Leno discovered a few when he tested it. But I am going to take a diversion from the trike before we get to see the gamma and talk about what I consider to be a very low act, and that is blocking on YouTube. As far as I can tell, I have been blocked from Aptera Owners Club, Transport Evolved, and Drive the Lightning, possibly more, because I have made many comments to which nobody responds, while on other sites I get a lot of responses. All three sites are American, for whom the US Constitution was framed with freedom of speech as a fundamental right, yet these people trample on it with impunity. When I find myself blocked, I wonder how many others are blocked as well, since there is no way of telling. While I am able to make claims on my own site, many watchers of larger sites and readers of their comments sections miss out on a balanced set of information about Aptera, which deceives them into thinking there is nothing wrong with the silly trike. The site owners allow a few negative comments by those who aren't too damaging, but when someone stumps them, they resort to blocking. Apparently I have stumped them often enough to get to that stage. I have certainly not used bad language or said anything that was politically incorrect. So blocking is because of the points I have made that nobody can refute, and they think it best that nobody sees them at all. A good example of Aptera fanboys, and even Aptera people for that matter, not being able to refute my points is in my two videos about skin cooling. Read the comments and you will see nobody has ever debunked anything. Getting back to this low act of blocking me on their channels, I would like to say that these people must be cretins. Now, that's my terminology for them, and I realize it is not strictly how the word is defined, but I just like it for people who act that way. This is how the net defines cretin. Naturally, my use is in the derogatory way and not the medical, but when someone is stupid, I am prone to call them an idiot or stupid and not usually use cretin. It's a simple fact of life that millions of people are stupid and they are usually harmless. I reserve cretin for someone who does something other than merely make foolish comments, and in the case of blocking people to remove alternative ideas and opinions, it seems more appropriate. Cretins use their poor ethics and inability to develop a moral compass to harm others. It's my application of the term, as you can tell by it not being in the definition. That doesn't mean to say a cretin can't be stupid as well. For example, Steve from AOC, Aptera Owners Club, was stupid when he formed a club with no members and no owners. That is, he called a YouTube channel after something that was merely wishful thinking. He was also stupid when he praised the new version of a motor when it was actually an old version.
The other thing that I found interesting was this rendering of the new Olafay motors. Now, this is just a render, it's not a picture, but this render looks vastly different than the previous iterations of the motors that we've seen before. So the motors that we've seen before are the M700 Olafay motors. That's the standard motor that you see on their website. Um, and it was seen, you can see this is the M700 motor. This was in the Aptera November update. And then here's a picture from Kirsten Dirksen's video from a while back showing the M700 and also the look of the control arms. See, the control arms back then were just like metal struts, and the wiring was like taped together with electrical tape in the back. And then with the beta, you can see that they routed the high voltage wires in the lower control arm, and they didn't have the steering rod installed here. And you see the M700 motor here, which is a very kind of encased motor. It's very solid, all the pieces in here. However, if you look at this thing, the motor is more of this spider design, and it looks like they removed a lot of weight from the motor by making like a spider design. And then it looks like they're routing the wires through the upper control arm rather than the lower control arm. Maybe they did this because the lower control arm just gathered a lot of road debris, and they didn't want the road debris sitting on these wires. I'm not sure what the reasoning was, but somehow they did. And it looks like their additive design or their computer optimization software took out these basically subtracted some material from the upper control arm to make it lighter. Now, I don't know what this does to the aerodynamics of the thing, but I'm sure they took that into account. But I just thought that this was exciting, and it looks like you can see the exposed brake calipers in here. So looks like the motors that are designed for Aptera are going to be significantly lighter than the M700 motors. And I like the look. It's a very clean look with all this excess material removed, and probably allows for more venting so that there is better cooling and removal of the brake dust. I also don't see in this render any ports for coolant. If you look here, these are the ports for the coolant of the motor. So I don't know if this means that they don't, because it's so vented, they feel like they don't need cooling, or if they just forgot about adding the cooling in the renders. So I'm not sure what the case is there. But I do like the new look of this motor, and I do think it's going to be much lighter. And of course, one of the problems with in-wheel motors is that the heavy motors are more unsprung weight. So the lighter you can make the motor, the better, that the less unsprung weight there is, and the less impact there is on the vehicle handling, and less impact on the suspension. And the suspension doesn't have to work as hard to get rid of the oscillating motion. So I think that is a really cool step, and I really like the look of it, honestly. I mean, these things look pretty cool too, but this just looks so much better. So anyways, we know now that Elafe is supplying the motors. It's not being made by Foxconn at the Lordstown facility like I was speculating earlier. They're going to directly do it, and it looks like in mass production, it's going to come from the Slovenian facility that they're building right now. And the production ramp of the Elafe motors will match the production ramp of Aptera's vehicles. So very good.
And he is generally stupid by the many times he guesses what's going on with Aptera's development. I have never heard anyone make so many wild guesses in my life. Well, that's about all I have to say on why I use the word cretin. You wouldn't want to be one, but then you wouldn't want to be stupid either. Now we can get back to concentrating on what that soon-to-be-released Gamma is going to do. I'm betting it will be a continuance of the fakes the Alphas were, which I mentioned earlier. Plus, they didn't have any thermal management system, as far as I can tell. They switched off drag strip timing so nobody discovered they didn't meet claimed performances, and everybody had to just believe those snake oil salesmen. Well, Gamma will probably be just as fake. They are under 6 months from their promise of selling these silly trikes, and it is time they verified everything Gamma can do that buyers, can have reason to trust those silver tongues. As always, bye for now and stay safe.